It's 3:02 a.m. again. I'm lying here, staring at the ceiling, and my heart is thumping against my ribs like a trapped bird. But it's not the silence that scares me anymore. It's the voices coming from the kitchen. I can hear my children. They think they're being quiet, but their whispers drift up the hallway like a cold draft. I caught two words that felt like a physical slap in the face. Care options. And then, even worse, who takes the house? They're talking about me like I'm already gone. Like I'm just a piece of old furniture that's getting too wobbly to keep around. The humiliation is devastating. I wanted to sit up, walk down there, and tell them I'm still here. I'm still me. But I stayed under the covers, paralyzed. Because how can I argue with them? Yesterday, I forgot where I put my keys for the third time this week. To them, that's not just a slip-up. It's evidence. It's another reason to start looking at those places, the ones that smell like lemon bleach and loneliness. I feel like my brain is just full, like a sink that won't drain. Everything is backed up, cloudy, and slow. It's not that I'm losing my mind. It's that my brain is failing to flush out the junk. I'm suffocating under a fog that I can't shake off, and it's turning me into a burden. I know that if I don't find a way to clear this out, I'm headed for a small room with a twin bed and a nurse who doesn't know my name. I had to stop the clog before my kids decided for me. I had to do something different, something that actually lets my brain breathe again. I couldn't just lie there and wait for the care options to become my reality. I spent the next 3 nights hunched over my laptop, the screen light searing my eyes while the rest of the house slept. I was digging, not into the mainstream medical sites. Those just told me to get more exercise and do crosswords. Useless. I went deeper. I found myself digging through digital archives of university libraries. That's when I saw it. An overlooked clinical trial from 2014. It had been quietly buried, completely ignored by major medical journals. The title made my blood run cold. Neural stasis, the mechanical failure of the glymphatic flush. It wasn't a disease. It wasn't getting old. The study revealed that memory loss is actually brain constipation. Think about it. Every day, your brain produces metabolic waste, neurotoxins, brain junk. Normally, while you sleep, your brain shrinks slightly, allowing a special fluid to rush in and wash that junk away. It's a literal plumbing system. But the study found that for millions of us, the drain is stuck. And that 3 a.m. wake-up call? It's not insomnia. It's an emergency signal. Your brain is literally suffocating in its own waste. It's trying to trigger a flush to clear the toxins, but it hits a wall. It lacks a specific mineral catalysts required to open the cellular gates. When the flush fails, your brain panics. It spikes your cortisol. It jolts you awake. You're staring at the ceiling because your brain is drowning in a pool of its own neurosludge. I kept reading, my hands shaking. The study identified a simple, raw mineral compound, something the body used to get from the soil, that acts like liquid Drano for your neurons. When this mineral is present, the gates open, the sludge clears, the fog lifts in minutes. So why hadn't I heard of this? Why was my doctor talking about managed decline? The answer was in an internal industry note attached to the file. A prominent pharmaceutical consultant had flagged the study. His note was chillingly clinical, unpatentable, natural source. High risk to existing cognitive support pipelines. They ignored it. They didn't ignore it because it didn't work. They ignored it because it worked too well, and they couldn't own it. They'd rather see me in a nursing home paying $8,000 a month for care than let me spend a few cents on a mineral they can't patent. The humiliation turned into a white-hot rage. I didn't tell my children. I couldn't. They already looked at me like I was a broken clock. If I told them I was trying an unapproved mineral method I found in an old research paper, they'd have the commitment papers signed by noon. I had to be a ghost. I tracked down a source for this specific mineral catalyst, pure, potent, and untouched by the big labs. When the package arrived, I hid it inside an old, dusty box of Earl Grey tea in the back of the pantry. That first night, I took it just before bed. I laid there, waiting for nothing, expecting another 3 a.m. panic attack. But then, something happened. About 20 minutes in, I felt it. It wasn't a drug feeling. It wasn't a high. It was a vibration, a faint, rhythmic hum, right at the base of my skull. It felt like a physical pressure was being released, like a heavy, wet blanket was being pulled off my prefrontal cortex. For the first time in a decade, the noise in my head went silent. I didn't just fall asleep, I went under. And when I woke up, it wasn't 3:02 a.m., it was 7:30 a.m. The sun was streaming through the curtains, and for the first time in years, I didn't have to spend 20 minutes trying to remember what day it was. I knew exactly what day it was. I knew exactly where my keys were. And more importantly, I knew exactly what my kids had been saying about me. I walked into the kitchen. They were there sipping coffee, probably rehearsing their talk with me. I looked at my daughter. I didn't stumble. I didn't hesitate. "I'm not selling the house," I said. The look of absolute shock on her face was the best medicine I'd ever had. But I knew I wasn't out of the woods yet. The flush had started. But the industry that wanted me clogged was still watching. And what I discovered next, what this mineral was actually doing to my brain cells, was something even the overlooked study was afraid to mention. It's called the dead hour, 3 a.m. Ancient cultures thought it was when the veil between worlds was thinnest. But the truth is far more terrifying, and it's purely biological. When you wake up at that exact time, heart racing, mind spinning with a nameless dread that isn't just insomnia, it is a cellular cry for help. You see, 3 a.m. is the peak of your brain's cleaning cycle. It's when your glymphatic system is supposed to open the floodgates. It's supposed to wash away the beta amyloid plaques, the toxic sludge that builds up while you're awake. But because you are missing one specific elemental mineral catalyst, those gates are rusted shut. The sludge has nowhere to go. It backs up. It begins to ferment. It creates a literal acidic environment inside your cranium, and your amygdala, your brain's primitive smoke detector, senses the toxicity. It thinks you are being poisoned from the inside out. Because you are. It triggers a massive spike of cortisol, a shot of adrenaline, a fight or flight response while you're just trying to rest. You aren't waking up because you're stressed about your bills or your kids. You're waking up because your brain is drowning in its own waste. Your amygdala is screaming, "Fire," because it's inflamed by neurotoxins that should have been flushed hours ago. I realized then, my senior moments weren't a death sentence. They were a plumbing issue. I started looking for anyone who didn't have this clog, and I found them. Deep in the high mountains of Ladakh, in the Himalayas, there is a civilization the modern world has ignored. They don't have a word for dementia. They don't have nursing homes. Their elders don't just remember their grandchildren's names, they remember the stories of their great-great-grandparents with perfect clarity. Their secret wasn't a diet. It wasn't low stress. It was the water. Specifically, the way the water filtered through a rare, crystalline mineral vein in the rock. This elemental activator is the only thing on Earth that can unlock the glymphatic valve in the human skull. It's like a key for a frozen lock. When I found a way to synthesize this mineral into its purest, most bioavailable form, everything changed. The dead hour vanished. The 3 a.m. panic was replaced by a deep, restorative silence. The fog didn't just lift, It evaporated. I felt like someone had taken a pressure washer to my prefrontal cortex. I realized that the slow decline we're told is just part of getting old is a lie. It's a profitable lie. The industry wants you to believe your brain is failing so they can manage your descent for $8,000 a month. They want you to believe the clog is permanent. It's not. It's reversible. You just have to unstick the valve. You have to give your brain the one thing it's been starving for since the industrial age stripped our soil of its natural minerals. I've spent the last 6 months documenting exactly how to do this. I've refined the process into a simple, nightly ritual, an adjustment that takes less than 30 seconds before you hit the pillow. I call it the Crystal Brain Protocol. It's not a drug. It's not a hack. It's the biological blueprint for a self-cleaning brain. I know you're skeptical. You should be. You've been told for years that once the memory goes, it's gone for good. But I'm living proof that's a lie. My children, who were whispering about care options just weeks ago, now look at me with a mix of awe and confusion. They can't keep up with me anymore. The question is your brain actually failing, or is it just full? Is that 3 a.m. wake-up call a sign of the end, or a final warning to fix the flush before the damage becomes permanent? I've put together a short diagnostic assessment to help you determine exactly how clogged your neural pathways are. It's the same assessment based on the overlooked study I found. Once you see your score, I'll show you exactly how to use the Crystal Brain Protocol to open the gates tonight. The dead hour is coming. Will you wake up in a panic? Or will you sleep through the most powerful flush your brain has had in decades? Click below to take the brain flush assessment and see if your valve is stuck. Your memories are still in there. They're just waiting for the fog to clear. Listen, I've spent too many nights staring at the ceiling just like you. But you need to know which stage of this biological shutdown you're actually in. I've prepared a free 60-second assessment to help you determine your specific risk level. Click the link in the description below to take it now. Once you have your results, I'll hand you the exact protocol tailored for your situation.